It's kind of crazy that in 2018, the most exciting Fallout game isn't being made by Bethesda at all. It's a year where some of the biggest gaming franchises in the world have decided that now is the right time for change. A year where studios like Rockstar attempt to redefine their single-player experiences. A year where Bethesda, as a game developer, has gone all in on the multiplayer ideals, the shared world realities of the MMO genre. A year where the company has finally begun its breach into the industry's biggest current trends. I think that says something about the current attitude towards Bethesda's approach to Fallout as we get closer to Fallout 76. Gamers want to see their problems addressed. Some of these issues with Bethesda games have existed for literally a decade, whether it's the bugs, the engine, or simply a lack of progress in the right direction, but they also know the foundation of Fallout and Skyrim is undeniably great. Others know that some of Fallout's greatest moments have come at the hands of people not named Todd Howard. Fallout Miami is an interesting response to the current state of Bethesda's approach to the franchise. It very much is a full-blown reimagining of Fallout 4. DLC, the scope of something Bethesda has never offered post-release, and technically speaking, it's all coming from a mod. So today we look at what Fallout Miami is, how it changes the formula up, how it solves some of the series' problems, and exactly why the game is so damn important. Welcome to the new Fallout. Welcome to South Beach.
Today, we are not just spending a day at the beach.
Oh, sweet mother of God.
If you don't like it, Stanley, you can go to the back of the bus.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's an idiom that gets thrown around a lot, but one piece of entertainment in particular drops a megaton-sized bomb on that very message. Fallout New Vegas. Fallout 3 was an incredible success for Bethesda as a publisher. They had taken a top-down isometric PC RPG and transformed it into one of the most recognizable pieces of the medium. By the time that 2008 was over, Bethesda Game Studios had a single-player cash cow unlike anything that generation had seen since Oblivion and GTA 4 earlier that year. So they did what comes naturally to a business and expanded, and thanks to the development of the then unreleased Skyrim, that had to be outsourced. And this is where the seed for Fallout Miami was laid. Bethesda struck a deal with Obsidian, a team founded by many of the same members of the original Fallout series development team, and not so coincidentally, made what is arguably the greatest game in the franchise. New Vegas gave players more player agency, more choice, a better story. It was through and through an RPG in ways that Fallout 3 had failed to become. It had its problems, many technical, but it was special. It's important too because it laid the groundwork for a belief to settle in throughout gaming. What was that belief? That it's possible that the people best suited to create a Fallout experience, were they to be given the engine, are outside of Bethesda altogether. This has led to an influx in modders looking to reshape the games entirely. It's led to a community that imagines Fallout experiences by new teams, experiences that would never get made by Bethesda, and that is where the Miami team and Mika999 comes in. They wanted to make something different, a team of very talented modders, led by the aforementioned Mika, with a love for Fallout and Fallout 4. So they got to work on an idea. What would Fallout be like if it was set somewhere wildly different? That place? Miami, Florida. The Miami team consists of a reported 17 people, a very large team for an unofficial mod. They are attempting to create a game within a game. A new map, larger than Bethesda's own Far Harbor, complete with a brand new story, new factions, side quest settlements. It's as official as something unofficial can be. So what exactly does Fallout Miami change about the series? Miami is not a new quest line for Fallout 4. Miami is an expansion that changes a whole hell of a lot. Many mods reuse assets and go from there. Miami takes what's there and creates its own assets, and plots a path out of those. The portion of this piece after this one will include more of what's changing incrementally, but this particular portion will be about what's changing relatively significantly. Fallout is a franchise that for the most part has always taken itself very seriously, even in its expansions. Sure, there have been some gags, funny outfits, a humorous quest line here and there, but even with things like Nuka World, Fallout has always been defined by a fairly stoic personality. Miami says it and throws caution to the wind in an attempt to create a Fallout unlike anything we've ever seen. Miami is a place that allows a team to create the most visually stunning Fallout experience to date. The beaches, the sun, the palm trees, it's a brighter Fallout. A Fallout that doesn't seep you into a depression after 8 hours of playing it. And that theme of aesthetic brightness, the theme of fun that the real Miami is defined by, seeps into every element of the game. On the beaches you'll find feral ghouls who didn't die wearing red t-shirts and torn jeans, who are instead wearing swim trunks, duck floaties, and snorkeling gear. You'll find tribes of characters who don't spend all their time sitting and waiting for death, who instead love to surf and enjoy the life that's been placed in front of them. And they're not ignoring the action once that gets started as well. Fallout Miami builds a new city with new building types, new structures, new everything. Where Fallout 4 had a rampant case of the death claws, Miami has its skater claws, alongside a suite of other new enemies to inhabit that area. There's a whole suite of new weapons to take down those enemies with, but from there, things really begin to change. The Miami team has hinted on multiple occasions that there will be drivable vehicles in the game, which may be fitting given that one faction is a biker game, who selects their leader through death races, and given that the faction's leader drive what's been titled a boss vehicle, it's possible vehicle battles will be a part of the experience. And the game's even playing with story in new ways, hinting at the possible existence of the Enclave or Brotherhood stake in Miami being a part of the mod. They're taking canon and kind of playing with it in a way that most mods don't. But it's not all changes and new for Miami. Some of its most interesting features are the things that keep it looking like Fallout.
Can I get 2 eggs scrambled on toast?
Sure thing, honey. Adam and Eve on a raft, wreck 'em.
I'd like a hot dog with ketchup and some Jell-O, please.
Paint a Bow Wow red and a side of nervous pudding.
Can I have a well-done burger with lettuce and tomato?
Burn one, drag it through the garden, pin a rose on it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. A theme carried throughout this piece because it works for and against Fallout. A lot of what makes Fallout Miami so interesting, and makes it appear to be so special, is that it doesn't lose sight of what isn't broken. It keeps its eyes on the prize and maintains what makes Fallout games feel so unique. Fallout, despite its myriad of technical issues, immerses you through sound, through structure, and through choice. Miami carries on all 3 of these traditions. For those of you that are die-hard Three Dog fans, Fallout Miami will have a new radio station, hosted by what they refer to as a rad surfer dude. Here's a quick clip of what he sounds like.
This next tune reminds me of this one time when this girl came by and she was knocking on my door, and I looked out the slot hole and I was like, hey, you look hot. And then she's like, can I come in? And then her nose fell off. And I was like, no, you can't come in. Then she kept on knocking. Oh yeah, shit. Little Richard, keep it knocking.
He sounds like a 1980s Miami radio host. It's funny, it's well done, and will also feature new songs like any Fallout expansion would. But the sound doesn't stop there. Fallout's often phenomenal soundtracks are getting an overhaul with brand new, composed from the ground up themes and music to give Miami its own auditory flair, and this, in conjunction with a full cast of actual, voice-acted new characters, shows a placed importance on sound. Then there's structure, both literally and figuratively. Fallout Miami's map was actually at its very core at one point built and modeled around a model of GTA Vice City's Miami, in terms of how it's laid out and how it's placed. But it also maintains the narrative structure you've come to expect from a Fallout game. Organic exploration will lead to new discoveries, but also new stories, side quests, and of course a main quest line that, much like Fallout 4 and New Vegas, will revolve around a conflict between factions. Your place smack dab in the middle of that conflict, and how you should approach solving it is up to you. It's a tried and true RPG structure that allows for, or at least should allow for, more player choice and involvement. And that is the final thing that Miami should not and does not seem to lose sight of. Player choice is huge in any modern RPG. Fallout 4 in many ways lost sight of that. It was a game that offered the facade of choice, while also pigeonholing you into one of 3 endings that slapped all of those choices in the face and forced you into one ending that almost no one wanted. Your choices by the end of the game felt mostly pointless. Fallout Miami looks to solve the problem the way New Vegas did, by ensuring that these decisions matter from beginning to end. And while it changes, maintaining sound, structure, and choice are huge for this game's potential success. But what about something like Fallout 76? The future of Fallout is more unclear now than it has been since Bethesda outright bought the IP in 2007 mid-development on Fallout 3. In fact, the direction of the company as a game developer is in flux in ways that we really haven't seen before. Bethesda is starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to the direction the entirety of the industry seems to be headed in. Multiplayer games are obviously not going anywhere. I think that's been obvious for over a decade now on consoles. But more importantly, it's clear that MMO lights and MMOs in general are only going to continue to make their presence known on consoles. They aren't in any way, shape, or form going to lose their momentum, at least not anytime soon. If the genre can survive the messy launch of 2 straight Destinies and a Sea of Thieves, it pretty much can survive anything. Fallout Miami is interesting because it operates in the opposite direction of where it seems Bethesda is headed. We're fairly certain Elder Scrolls 6 will hit this generation of consoles, or maybe the next, obviously, but will it be affected by the monetization and multiplayer trends? Probably not, but it may be the last of that dying breed. Elder Scrolls Online has been a big focus for the company, even if it hasn't always been handled well, but Fallout 76 is far more interesting when placed in contrast with Fallout Miami. 76 is an official product, made for the sake of making a company money, that does everything marketable that it can possibly do. It is a big open world that's filled with very Fallout-esque enemies, and it maintains the aesthetic of the past 2 games while also allowing you to play with your friends, meet strangers, drop nukes, combat other real-life players, build. It's very much in line with the direction that the industry is headed. In fact, it's a game that features every trendy move imaginable. This does not mean that it won't be a great game, not at all. Hell, it could end up being a Game of the Year contender, but what it does mean is that should it be successful, should it make Bethesda a ton of money on the tail end post-release, it could cement this direction moving forward, at least in some ways. Fallout Miami, on the other hand, is the total inverse. It's a free mod made by unpaid, non-Bethesda employees looking to do nothing but share their love for a franchise and what they create within it. It doesn't feature multiplayer or a traditional comfort food Fallout aesthetic. There won't be any in-app purchases to be made. You won't be griefed by other players or raiding your friends' bases. It's pure, single-player, zany Fallout. There's something kind of romantic about that idea. The idea of a team of modders going against the grain to create something maybe as special as one of gaming's biggest releases of 2018. That may not come to pass, obviously, but it's hard not to root for them. And there are definitely some question marks when it comes to Fallout Miami. Can this team really write a cogent and coherent story that makes the choices they want to involve you in feel worth anything? Is the influence of Fallout 4 and its DLCs going to seep so deeply into the mod that it ends up blurring the lines of what the team is trying to do? But maybe more importantly, is this really even possible? Is it possible for them to achieve the vision that they've set out for themselves? Can this team pull off the creation of what is essentially a brand new Fallout game by themselves without the official support of Bethesda, with voice actors, artists, character models, weapons, enemies, structures, all being done in-house by this small team of 17 people? And at this point, it looks like it just might. And if it does, it will be an impressive feat Bethesda would be keen not to ignore. Look, Fallout 4 is flawed, but it's an immensely fun game. It's a game that maybe should be far better than it is, and a game that certainly deserves the criticisms levied its direction, but it's also a game that clearly laid a foundation Bethesda and the community feel comfortable building upon. I, just like many others, am trepidatious about what Fallout 76 is and what it may become. I'm not sure that this is a positive step in the right direction for Bethesda, but they could prove me wrong. But regardless, I think it's the second most interesting release with the Fallout name attached to it. Never once did I think to myself for the past decade plus that I wished for a Fallout game to be set in Miami, and yet it's now an idea I can't get out of my head. Miami is without a doubt one of the most ambitious mod projects that I have ever seen a team that size undertake. It's a damn near whole new game, and it's one worth paying attention to, but it also brings attention to modding in general. There are so many mods like Miami that attempt ambitious things that we should be looking at. There are things being made every day that don't have the Bethesda name on them that we should be paying attention to. Fallout Miami is building a dangerous level of hype and expectation, sure. It's extending beyond the normal reach of a mod. It's starting a fervor normally associated with full games, but if it sticks the landing on the promises it's making, it could open all new doors for mods. We could be in for one of the best pieces of modding and better yet Fallout that we've gotten in a very long time. Keep your eyes on this one. This could be something special. Well guys, that is it for today's doc, and it's always sort of a dialogue. I want to know what mods you think are the best when it comes to Bethesda games, when it comes to Fallout, when it comes to Skyrim. Are there any mods that you find particularly interesting? Anything you think matches the level of Fallout Miami? And more importantly, is Fallout Miami the game that will put big mods like this on the map even more than they already are? Is this a mod you're looking forward to? And I guess a more interesting question is, where do you want to see a Fallout game take place? With Miami being such an interesting decision, would you want to see an official Fallout game take place somewhere like Miami, somewhere like Hawaii, somewhere strange like that? Or do you like the kind of more, I guess, historical locales that they seem to be choosing over the past few entries? Let me know the answers to all those questions down in the comments below. Let's have a real conversation. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you're not yet a member of this team, press subscribe. I put out gaming analysis, examinations, and essays just like this one twice, sometimes 3 times a week, so hit subscribe so you do not miss any. Really quick update, the launch of the new channel is coming this week, guys. I will update on Twitter as it comes to that, so just keep an eye out for that. You can follow me at the Twitter handle down below. It's Clean Prince Game. It'll be in the pinned comment as well, so you can check that there. Really quick, I want to give a huge shout out to Elijah Who, providing a lot of the music for this essay. Thank you to him. Yeah, that's it, guys. As always, if you did enjoy this, I'm sorry. I put out more and more each and every week. Maybe I'll catch one of those. Maybe you'll enjoy that. But if not, thank you for giving me and this channel a shot. And until next time, guys, I'm out.